Welcome to the Global Pulse, a short video series where our experts break down a trending topic in international business and why it matters to you.
Welcome to the Global Pulse. This week, we will use an international example to talk about a broader question. What should be the objective of companies? A dominant view has been this shareholder primacy where companies should be doing everything they can to maximize shareholder value. There are a lot of arguments, economic arguments behind this view. So, in a situation like this, where a company could use a technology that has a 0.01% chance of failure, and that will cost X certain amount, versus a technology that would have a 0.0001% chance of failure and costs three times more. If you think about the maximizing shareholder value perspective, you would probably choose the first one. That's what, for example, this comes from some news last week that the Brazilian company Vale, which is one of the giants in the mining industry, they are reopening a mine and they plan to invest $12 billion. And they mentioned that they will be using filtering and dry stacking of iron ore, which is a more expensive technology, which has a lower chance of failure because they want to reduce the use of dams, which is the cheaper technology. So they want to reduce that from 30 to 20%. Okay, that's great. So Vale is thinking about their stakeholders. They're making investments, thinking not only about the pure cost, but also thinking about environmental impacts or impacts on the lives of the people in the communities around it. Okay, that's great. But let's look a little bit at the history behind that. This is the dividend yield for Vale in between 2011 and 2018. What you can see that the numbers are pretty high. The Vale was paying very high dividends during that decade, and that was their share price was going up a lot during that period. And that was a period where they were using mostly this older technology, cheaper technology. And then Vale started facing some problems. There was a first disaster back in 2015, 19 people died, and there was there were huge environmental issues with that disaster. 4 years later, terrible accident in one of the dams that they had. 270 people died. So if you stop and think about, okay, now they're doing the right thing, they're using the most expensive technology to reduce the chances of disasters happening. Why weren't they doing that before? Is it because they were trying to maximize their dividends? Is it because they're thinking only about shareholder value when they're making decisions? And so probably they were choosing the first one because that was the best for shareholder value. Now they seem to be doing the right thing. They're making investments in more expensive technologies that are much safer. That's great. And that's maybe relating to this shift of view that we have there at Financial Times in 2019, talking about a change where up to that point, companies were, the Business Roundtable, which is association that puts together the CEOs of the top 500 companies in US. They defined the main objective of companies as maximize shareholder value up to that moment, 2019. And at that moment, they changed that definition to also include stakeholders, to include other elements. So this is still a process that is going on, and it's hard to define also how to take into account all those other elements that are that go beyond just share price dividends. So how can you take that into account and how can you translate that into results? So, but I think it's an important discussion. It's an important discussion, and I think what Vale is doing now, it's a big step in the right direction. But the question still holds, why didn't they do that before? Why the other companies that are using this older technology, why aren't they doing that also? it seems that we need more accidents, more people dying for companies to start moving in the right direction. So this is just some food for thought this week.